I could go through at every table and pick out so many of you that have been with us from the very beginning. Actually, even before the very beginning, when I was sick. And I thank you. I thank you for your help, and I thank you for being here. I get the pleasure tonight of introducing a very dear friend and someone that I get to work with almost every day. My friend that I'm speaking about is Miss Cindy Rodgers, and she is the Patient Assistance Coordinator at the UNC Cancer Center Lineberger. Okay, that'll do. Yeah. It's a really long title. Cindy came to us by way of California, and since we've met her and had the pleasure of working with her, she has been such a tremendous asset to us. She helps us as we help our patients. Cindy is the main source of our referrals from UNC. And without further ado, Cindy's going to share with us tonight a little bit about her story, and what she does. So please join me in welcoming Cindy.
I appreciate that. Thank you to Stephanie and Eric for inviting my husband Tom and I and my colleagues from UNC Cancer Support Program to be part of this celebration of 1 in 9. We're really honored to be here. It's a fabulous organization that touches the lives of many people. The UNC Cancer Support Program has the very great fortune to work with Stephanie and all the staff and volunteers at 1 in 9, really since the beginning of the organization. The UNC Cancer Support Team has been helping 1 in 9 identify breast cancer patients who could benefit from the services that 1 in 9 offers. I joined the support program about 5 years ago, but it's only been since I began my work as the Patient Assistance Coordinator back in 2012 that I began to work with Stephanie. It was at that time that I began working directly with cancer patients, assessing their unique and individual needs, and helping to find resources that would enable them to overcome the barriers to receiving needed cancer treatment. 1 in 9 very, very quickly became one of my go-to organizations when I met a woman with breast cancer in need. Over the last few months, it's been wonderful to be a part of 1 in 9's launching of No to O, which has helped to reach out and provide assistance to women battling ovarian cancer as well. In November of last year, my and my family's world was shaken when I was diagnosed with stage 2 cervical cancer. Suddenly, the tables were turned. And tonight, rather than wearing pink, I'm wearing teal, which is the cervical cancer color. And my husband's teal tie is in solidarity with that. So last December and November and December, I entered the world of scans and tests and consultations, surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, treatment side effects, and complications. I've learned a lot. Things that I thought I would have learned from the patients that I have been working with over the last 2 years. But I've learned that the cancer journey is not a straight road. It's one that's fraught with twists and turns and potholes. Despite those potholes, though, I've come to realize how lucky I am and that I'm one of the fortunate ones. In thinking about the patients that we serve at the Cancer Support Program at UNC and the woman that we refer to 1 in 9 and no to O, I'm struck by how different my needs as a cancer patient are from the needs expressed by many of the patients that I meet with every day in my work. I'm not worried about losing my job because I have a cancer diagnosis. I have work benefits that allow me time off, and I'm not worried about a loss of income if I have to take time away from my work while I'm receiving treatment. My husband, as my primary caretaker and as my rock, has not had to worry about losing income or his job because he's taken time off to accompany me to my appointments and treatments. I'm not worried about whether I can afford needed treatment or medicine because I have health insurance. I'm not having to make choices about whether to pay my utility bill or my rent or buy food so that I can pay for gas to put in my car to travel to the hospital for my treatment. By and large, the woman that I refer to 1 in 9 with breast or ovarian cancer cannot claim the benefits that I'm fortunate enough to possess. They are unemployed or underemployed, uninsured or uninsured, are self-employed, or work in temporary or part-time positions without benefits. And while these differences are stark, there are many things that we share. Like me, they have families they care about and they love. They are caretakers for children and of elderly or ill family members. They're members of communities, and they're dedicated to serving them. Stephanie and the staff, the volunteers at 1 in 9, they make a positive difference in the lives of the women that they serve and their families every single day. They reach out to every single woman we refer, and they ask, how can we help you? They individualize the assistance they offer to each woman, and they recognize how varied the needs are for each woman and their families. I can honestly say, and this is without any hesitation at all, I know women who would not have been able to receive the cancer care they needed but for the assistance of 1 in 9. Whether it's paying for transportation to medical appointments and parking vouchers on treatment days, or preventing an eviction or a utility cutoff because of a past due bill. 1 in 9 is ensuring that women don't have to make the choice between needed cancer treatment and feeding their families and keeping a roof over their heads. The admiration that I have for Stephanie and for what she has accomplished at 1 in 9, and now as she continues to reach out with the addition of no to O, is immeasurable. She has shown fierceness in tackling the problem of disparities in our healthcare system. Stephanie and the staff at 1 in 9, they go way beyond meeting the financial challenges of the women they serve. The emotional support that they provide the women must be acknowledged. They listen to the women's stories, they offer support, and they give hope. They actually give out their cell phone numbers. They want to be there with their patients, with these women along that road that's filled with twists and turns and potholes. This last week, the poet and author Maya Angelou passed away. And as I've been reading about her life and work, I came across a poem that I thought would be fitting for tonight. And I'd like to read just an excerpt from that poem to you now. This is an excerpt from a poem, A Brave and Startling Truth by Maya Angelou. When we come to it, Then we will confess that not the pyramids, with their stones set in mysterious perfection, nor the gardens of Babylon, hanging as eternal beauty in our collective memory, not the Grand Canyon kindled into delicious color by western sunsets, nor the Danube flowing its blue soul into Europe, not the sacred peak of Mount Fuji stretching to the rising sun. Neither Father Amazon nor Mother Mississippi, who without favor nurture all creatures in the depths and on the shores. These are not the only wonders of the world. When we come to it, we, this people, on this minuscule and kithless globe, who reach daily for the bomb, the blade, the dagger, yet who petition in the dark for tokens of peace. We, this people, on this mote of matter, in whose mouths abide the cankerous words which challenge our very existence, yet out of those mouths come songs of such exquisite sweetness that the heart falters in its labor and the body is quieted into awe. We, this people on this small and drifting planet, whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling life is sapped from the living, yet those same hands can touch with the same healing, irresistible tenderness that the haughty neck is happy to bow and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, of such contradictions, we learn that we are neither devils nor divines. When we come to it, we, this people on this wayward floating body, created on this earth of this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we come to it, we must confess that we are the possible, we are the miraculous, the true wonder of this world. That is when, and only when, we come to it. And I would suggest to you that Stephanie has exhibited the power to make this a better world. And that tonight, we all have the opportunity to be a part of supporting the work of One in Nine and creating a better world. Thank you.
Cindy, thank you. Those were some beautiful, beautiful words. I'm not sure that I quite deserve all of those, but thank you, and thank you for what you do for our organization and for our patients. Hey. Hey. Fancy.
What are you doing here?
When we decided that we were going to have a gala our first year, Keith Amos, as some of you may remember, Dr. Keith Amos, a surgeon at Chapel Hill, spoke that night. And Keith was on my surgical team. And those of us that knew Keith were just amazed by the man's selfless giving. And one of the things that, or one of the ways that you always would see Keith, he would be coming down the hall or whatever over at Chapel Hill. Well, he always had his pink tie or his bow tie. And he was an amazing and wonderful influence for us and was a catalyst to help us get started. So tonight, Tina Shaven, can you come here for just a minute? Tina Shaven is the director of the Patient and Family Resource Center at UNC. And come on up here. Tonight, we want to honor Keith, Dr. Amos's memory by giving the Patient Family Resource Center this pink tie in Keith's honor for his love, his dedication, and his devotion to not only us here at 1 and 9, but to all of his patients. So, thank you.
Keith had a huge heart, and we loved us some Keith. And unfortunately, he passed away this past year. How old was Keith? 42. He was a genius. He was one of the best doctors I've ever known, one of the most giving and best people I've ever known. And this pink tie, it's just Keith in a box, is what we're going to pretend like it is. And Tina, thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to have to say a couple words, and I don't usually like to do this, but I'm very emotional right now, as you can imagine. The work that we do is very difficult at times, and many of you, through your families, your friends, your own health, have experienced this diagnosis. And tonight we honor our survivors back there. We honor these incredible women who had the great insight, even when Stephanie was going through treatment, to see that other people needed help. It's just incredible. And I can tell you that help does not just arrive right then and there, but with 1 and 9, it does. It's not months of waiting to help these people. They are there, and they have made extreme differences in people's lives. So I can tell you firsthand every day, in honoring Dr. Amos, who is a dear friend and colleague, and honoring our great first patient who Betsy told you about, who it's just fitting to say that in honoring her life tonight, that any help that you all can give to this group is going to be fully put to use helping these women. So thank you all, and enjoy.